Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness down the river of tranquility to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there. Welcome to yet another rendition of Late Night Love here. And if you're here in Sacramento, you might be hearing us on KUBU 96.5, or you could be listening to us on the KUB app anywhere in the world. So you just go look for that if you're not. And I forget what time we're on. We're on Tuesday mornings at midnight or Monday nights at midnight, depending upon your view of those things. I got to move us to a different time slot. Because is it Monday midnight or is it Tuesday midnight? If you're a morning person, it's Tuesday midnight. If you're a night owl, it's Monday midnight. So there. How's that for a non-answer? All right. So tonight we're delving into the complexities of life, relationships, parenting, and work as per usual. All right, and as always, you can find us and send us your letters at love@latenightLove.us. You can find us at latenightLove.us. And I think have any open topic segment like I usually do. I didn't think for one, but I did see something interesting, and I thought maybe you might have a thought on this. You've heard this bear in the woods thing, right? If women,
yeah,
you've heard about this thing. Okay, well, there's a man version of it. Would you rather tell your feelings to a tree or a woman? Because many men's experiences, if you tell a woman your feelings, it will be used as a weapon later. You ask us why we don't tell you things. This is why. Now,
do I do that?
No.
Okay.
But this is many men's experience. If you've gone through enough relationships, it's just like women with men. If you bounce through enough of them, you interact with enough of them, you're going to come across a few that are unpleasant, shall we say?
Yes.
To use a mild word, and it's the nature of things. I think rather than sitting here pointing our fingers but blaming each other and viewing ourselves as victims, maybe we should say, some people are just not nice people, and I'm not going to allow that to change my view of the world, because the reality is most people are. If not, we couldn't have a civilization. If most people weren't at least civil, we couldn't have a civilization. It just wouldn't exist. It's right there in the word. And so if most people were dangerous, then we just couldn't exist. So the reality is there are predators out there. They do exist, and we do have to be wary of them. But your average person is just another average person. They're just like you, trying to get through life as best they can. Sure, they screw up. Yeah, on occasion you cross somebody on a bad day, or two bad days cross paths, and things can get ugly. But for the most part, people try their best to be civil. And I think we should remember that, because if not, life wouldn't work. All right, so what are we going to start with? Oh, wow, that didn't support these questions. Anyway, I'm going to have to do this for you. All right, how's that? We got some life questions. These are some tough ones right at the start of the show. So, all right. What do we got?
Okay. How do I tell my 9-year-old foster son that we'll be adopting his younger half-sister, but not him? He'll be removed to a group home.
You don't, because you don't do that. Families at that age, you accept them as a unit, or you send them to someone who will.
Yes. You don't do that.
You just don't. You've lost enough, and now you're going to separate them from what family they have. That is not a nice thing. And if you can only take one, which is understandable, then then you find someone who can, because you don't separate them. Their daughter his younger sister will not forgive you. And you've already gone through enough. difficulty, enough destruction in their lives. Either suck it up, buttercup, or find it out to someone who can. Okay, what's next?
My fiance says it isn't cruel to kick one's child out of the house on their 18th birthday for no other reason than they're now an adult and they have to be reliant on themselves. Is this true?
Well, cruelty is in the eye of the beholder. Do I think it's unnecessary? Yes, especially in the modern world. We think back about in history, when you reach adulthood and you go off and start your own life, is actually a fairly new invention in history. It's less than 100 years old. And I mean, realistically, now lots of people chose to do it. You didn't like living under, especially young men. You don't like living under their dad's roof, their dad's rules. You want to go out and make something of themselves.
Yeah.
But if your family had the resources, you took care of your family until they could take care of themselves. That was the historical standard. At some point that changed. I don't know when. I'm fairly good at history, but there's probably not a line. It's probably a slow evolution to the industrial age, would be my guess, beginning with the industrial age. But it's also not an uncommon thing. And especially if you have prepared them for it their whole lives, they're not going to be shocked by it. Is it cruel? It had some personal thing. I wouldn't suggest it.
It's not very nice.
I wouldn't suggest it. I mean, we brought somebody in who actually had some of that kind of thing, and she stayed here for 6 months while she's, So, yeah, we are against that kind of viewpoint, but it is not an uncommon one. And cruelty, it depends. These things are cultural and family, and it gets complicated. So that might be one of those issues that's a deal breaker in a relationship, right? That's a fundamental issue about raising kids.
Yes, it is.
So, okay.
My daughter kicked her 18-year-old out of the house. Now she's living with me, and my daughter is furious with me. What should I do? Tell your daughter it's none of her beeswax anymore.
Yeah, and there may be extenuating circumstances, right? Maybe there's some issues there that's not being presented to us. But even still, maybe it's an opportunity to turn their lives around. Maybe your mother didn't get along with mothers and daughters don't always get along, and relationships can get strained for all types of reasons. And I'm not going to judge that, but grandma has got to do what grandma's got to do.
Yeah. Sorry. So, yeah. You're absolutely within your rights.
She's a grown woman. They're both grown women. They can choose to do what you want to do. And, maybe if there's some underlying issues you need to be aware of, maybe that's a thing. But if she's just mad just because she feels like you're undercutting her parenting, she has a similar idea about these things to the question before. Well, then she's just going to have to be mad. She's just controlling, and she's mad that she can't control you. Well, she's just going to have to be mad. Okay, what's next?
I'm 47 years old and I'm single. What should I do?
Now, there's a little bit more to this. This is a man, 47. He's never even been on a date.
Oh.
So it's not just he's 47 and single. He's never been on a date. He's got a successful career. He's not, a troll holed up in his mom's basement. He's got a successful career, got his own home, the whole 9 yards. He's just not, for whatever reason, he's never been able to find a date. And there was no underlying explanation for that. My guess is a bit of socially awkward, a bit of workaholic, and and maybe there's some unattractiveness there, that overweight, or got a face like Shrek. These things are unfortunate, but they happen. But also, Women like competence. And so what you need to do over the next few years is stop worrying about going out on a dates and stop worrying about finding a partner. Is start making sure you are confident enough in yourself that you are expressing that just as you're going about your daily life.
Yeah.
Make yourself available to compliments. My guess is you're getting compliments and not catching them.
Yes.
You know, there's someone out there who appreciates you for who you are, and you just have to allow them into your life at this point. And at 47, you don't know how, you've never done it. And so this is one of those things. Take some of those resources that you've acquired and go to counselor. Probably isn't the right person. You may need some counseling, but that's a dating coach,
Yeah.
a confidence coach,
Yeah.
a life coach, something that so someone can get you to change your perspective, because desperation isn't attractive, but competence is, and you have displayed competence in your life, and so you've got to find a way to let that shine without being arrogant. And you're not arrogant, so find some way to allow your confidence to shine. That's my only suggestion, and good luck to you, because he says he resounded himself to being single and lonely for the rest of his life. But if you had resounded yourself to being, you wouldn't be
Posting on Reddit. Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay. My boyfriend tells me he won't touch me if I'm wearing clothes or makeup he doesn't like. How do I call him out on this?
Find a boyfriend who appreciates you.
Okay.
That's a red flag controlling behavior. I'd be worried,
I would be very concerned.
because that's not normal male behavior, right? They may not like something, and it may even actually turn them off. Maybe you put too much makeup on or something, and he doesn't find it attractive. But we, generally speaking, still don't care. So
We'll still touch you.
yeah. So yeah, yeah. So my guess is you're going to have to consider a different relationship, but you also may want to take some constructive criticism. You know, this may be a thing, and he's explained to her that he doesn't like heavy makeup, and she looks like she's, put makeup on with a paint roller. Now those are two, again, goes back to maybe you're not actually meant for each other, or maybe there's a compromise there, but I suspect a red flag. Okay.
My husband has almost ruined us financially. What do I do?
Now they're 25 and 28, and credit card debt,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Debt can be gotten out of. It's not the end of the world. You have to suffer for a couple years to get yourselves out of debt, and you have to tighten up your habits, but these things can be solved. The real problem here is you've lost trust at some place. Maybe a bad investment, who knows how these things can happen. But this is a very common thing, and you work through these things is what you do. Go to financial planning classes. There's all kinds of things you can do but the single biggest way to these things is just you buckle down and you work through them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get in a few wins. You pay off your lowest credit card debt first, so you can get a couple wins get a win under your belt. Don't have to worry about that one anymore. It's one less card to worry about. Some people will say, well, pay the biggest one off first because that's where you save the most money. Yeah, but you need some emotional wins. And then you need something so it's no longer a worry, right? Say you used to have 4 credit cards. Now you only have 3 to think about.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let these things start to build on themselves. Let a few successes start to build on themselves. And, maybe it's time to talk about changing your relationship roles. Maybe you start to deal more with finances.
With the money.
And, it's not an easy question, but when you're dealing with a relationship that's supposed to last another 50 years, you're gonna have to deal with this, and you've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I know it feels you're in your mid-20s, it feels like it's the end of the world, but you've got lots of time. That time is on your side. Okay, what is next?
My boyfriend admitted he thinks my sister is prettier than me. How do I overcome his comment?
Did you ask him? And he told you what? You answered the question honestly, and now you're mad at him.
Maybe.
Maybe you shouldn't ask questions you don't want the answers to. You can't ask somebody the question and they get mad if they tell you the truth. Would you prefer they lie?
Yes.
Don't ask a question if you want to lie. It's,
Not really. I was being.
I'm just saying. Well, yes, I know, but no, it's actually a good response because there's a few people out in this audience who probably said, yes, I want to hear the lie. And the answer is, do you? Do you really want to set that precedent where your spouse is lying to you? Don't ask questions you don't want answers to is the solution. It's okay that your sister's prettier than you. He likes you better. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She might be physically prettier than you. She's not prettier than you down deep, not where he cares. Don't ask questions that you don't. You knew. Don't set him up for failure. It's not nice. And don't set up your spouse to start lying to you. Don't. Just don't. It's not good. And you think, well, it's harmless. Yeah,
but it creeps in.
It's taking the easy way out, and just the better option is don't ask that kind of question. Because my guess is she knew the answer, but she was testing him with what he was going to say. And we fail those tests all the time because we're stupid. We're not emotionally intelligent that quickly, right? We don't understand what's happening in the moment. We'll get it in an hour, but we don't get it at that moment. And you set us up for failure. You're setting yourselves up for the thing, you know?
Okay. Maybe.
Am I attractive to you is a much better question because you will always get a yes, you are. What the heck are you talking about? That's the question. Ask the right questions. Don't ask us to compare.
Yeah, don't bring your sibling rivalry into your relationship.
Yeah. Just don't throw girl. Yeah, we're moving on. What's next?
My boyfriend thinks my mom is hot and has a crush on her. Should I be worried? Well, yeah, this guy is 28. What is he doing?
Well, let's see. We figure her mom's probably what, late 40s, maybe. She says 24. I don't know. J-Lo's in her 50s and she's pretty hot. It can happen. Again, stop asking questions. How much you want to bet?
I'd break up with him.
Well, maybe.
I'd move on. That's too creepy.
I don't know. Is it any creepier than the one before? Again, it depends how this comes up. If he just kind of says it, but if you ask the question, again, don't ask people can't control their fantasies of things that happen automatically in their heads. Things just happen. Don't ask about them if you don't want to know. Okay, what's next?
I did something bad to my boyfriend. How can I change and earn his forgiveness? She sold his like a collection of something, like a baseball card collection. I forget what it was. She trashed it. She got mad at him, and
she's gonna have to start going to therapy and start working on herself. Forget actually the relationship and repairing the relationship for a moment, because that can't happen until she works on herself. That's the first thing you have to do, is you have to make a commitment onto being a better you. And once that commitment is organic, is seen as organic, then you can start repairing the relationship. But how can anybody trust you if you've done that? Get mad at me and what's next? You gonna push the car in the river? You're gonna have to set the house on fire. Where's your boundaries? So yeah, start working on yourself and then worry about your relationship.
Well, she wants to change because she asked, "How can I change?"
Yes, but change like that
She
is
understands she really messed up.
yeah, but the change is going to take a long time. It's a slow slog because that's an instinctive reaction, and she's going to have to change her instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to happen. There's no quick pill to this one. She's just going to have to work on herself. Okay.
Mm.
That's the only way this thing changes is she works on herself, and he will notice as time goes on. But the danger is when you work on yourself like that, oftentimes the relationship you're in, you grow apart, and because you become vastly different people, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's just how maturing is. So there's that danger, but it's the only path you want forward because you don't want to be that emotionally reactive person.
No, she doesn't want to. She doesn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
So that's the first step is, acknowledging there's a problem is the first step. And the next step is go work on yourself and fix it.
Yeah.
Counselors, therapies.
Yeah.
Figure out what's drawing that. There's something somewhere you've learned that behavior somewhere. And so now you're going to have to go unlearn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How do I explain to my partner that I just can't quit my job for once in a lifetime trip? To go to Iceland and live for like 6 weeks. She can't do that.
Well, you just say you can't. You're not willing to jeopardize your career for 6 weeks. Now, you may actually go ask your job if you can take a 6 weeks leave of absence. Many jobs are actually perfectly happy to do that for something like this. You're not going to get paid for that period of time.
Right.
You'll have a job when you get back.
Yeah.
Now, unless you're at a place that's laying off people and you've kind of survived, and you now is not the time to ask for a 6 week 6 weeks leave of absence. And it kind of depends. They're in their early 20s, and so it really kind of depends the type of job you have. If you've got a nice corporate gig, you're starting to climb the corporate ladder. Yes, you want to be more careful than if you're working at McDonald's or Burger King or Walmart or something. And there's financial. She may just not be able to afford it.
Well, he's gonna pay for it. That's the thing.
Yes,
but she would miss out on income, and then she wouldn't be able to pay her bills.
Yeah, because the rent still needs to be paid. Okay, yeah. All those car insurance still needs to be paid. Mm-hmm. All these things still have to happen, and so yeah. So you just explain that you can't do it, and you wish him to have a great time on his trip. You genuinely wish him a great time on his trip. It's okay. He's got an opportunity to go on a once in a lifetime trip. You don't want to get in his way. You just can't go because, life's like that sometimes. Okay, what's next?
I blocked my girlfriend without letting her explain, and now I feel bad. Advice? He thought she was cheating. And now he's come on deeper reflection. He realizes he may have overreacted.
Well, okay. Well, here's what you do. You reach out to her, you say, and you just kind of find out. You just literally you tell her exactly what you just told everybody on Reddit. Hey, on deeper reflection, I may have overreacted. Can we talk about it? And that's how you start it.
Yeah.
And you work your way through it.
You can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or not. It may not work out for you, but there's only one way to find out. That's it.
Well, you can't control what your girlfriend's ex is gonna do.
No.
But you can try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. We
Yeah.
these are maturing moments. I mean, they're 23, so these are the kind of things that you learn from.
Oh, she's gonna be curious.
Yeah.
As to why.
Yeah. So they're 23. These are the things you learn from, right? You learn how to be better, how to deal with these situations in the future better by messing them up. Now, that's just how it works, right? We've all been through that. Did we handle relationship issues at 23 the way we should have?
No.
No. Not even close. So you'll be all right. Just learn from it and you'll be fine. All right, we're on to some parenting questions.
Do you let kids eat before bed if they refuse to eat dinner? Well, what I would do is I would save my children's dinner and then I'd heat it up for them. They could eat it before bed.
Well, I was never a family dinner thing. And when we did have family dinners, we made a big pot of something and everybody would just kind of eat out of it all the evening long. So we didn't really have a lot of food issues. But the kind of rule was if you didn't eat dinner, it's not my problem. If you're hungry, you're hungry. Make a sandwich. And so we taught our kids to be self-sufficient. We didn't have while the kitchen was still where the family gathered, it's still where we kind of congregated and everything. It wasn't around dinner. You know, it would happen at 2 a.m. It would happen at weird odd hours. The kitchen was still the place where all those kind of conversations, the dinner table conversations, still happened. They just didn't happen around the dinner table.
Yeah, they
happened around the kitchen counters, as we're just kind of shooting the breeze while someone's making a late night snack or whatever it was. And so that's how. So for us, there's no right or wrong way to do these kind of things. You just have to find the way that works for you and your family. Okay.
Are there workout videos that integrate children climbing on you? I know of yoga videos that do that. But, I mean, I don't specifically know the name of them. You need to talk to a yoga instructor, and they could give you, but they could give you some suggestions. But, I would do a search on Amazon, to tell you the truth. Check that out.
Just go to YouTube, do the
YouTube,
workouts with children.
Yeah, it should be there.
And start searching would be because yes, there's someone who has figured out a way to incorporate their toddler or something into their workouts.
Oh yeah, they have.
and have put it on the internet. It just has happened. Maybe it's in a language you can't understand, but you can watch the things. You can watch them do it. So yes, I am sure there's workout videos that you can follow along with on YouTube to, integrate children. Children love to climb, right? So
yeah, they do.
I'm sure they have it. Just you're gonna have to do a little searching. Okay.
Does anyone else have a nonstop talker? My oldest was a talker, but my youngest still is.
None of my kids are really talkers, but I have seen those. I've had friends and whatnot who've had children who are just they'll just talk your ear off. They just will never stop talking because they've got a lot to say about everything they see, and their mind is racing, and they're going to share it with you because that's what they're going to do, and they'll tell you about everything. That light switch is neat. How does the light switch work? And they'll just go on forever, and while it can drive the parents crazy, if your parent can verbalize themselves, it's a gift.
It really is.
It really is, because there are those who have it the opposite way. And I know as a parent, it drives you crazy because you just need some peace and quiet. And the kid won't stop talking and asking questions and telling you everything in the world. And like, how the heck are you even breathing? And, but just try to remember that there are others who have children who cannot speak, and communication is a wonderful thing, and At some point they will learn to regulate themselves, or they'll become a TV announcer or something. They'll use their voice. They'll do things like this, and they've got a talent for it. So foster it in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, hey, earplugs are okay. Selective hearing is also good for that, by the way.
Very much so.
Okay, so what's next?
Does anyone actually enjoy playing with their children? Now, she's got a 6-year-old,
Uh-huh.
and there's a lot of repetition, and she likes the surprises sometimes. Sometimes it's fun,
Mhm.
but by and large, it's just kind of tedious.
Tedious and
for her.
boring.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
It's tedious and boring unless you make a mind shift. You just have to dedicate yourself to have fun. Allow yourself to be the 2-year-old while you're, or the 6-year-old or the 7-year-old. Just dedicate yourself to having fun. Because yes, it's going to be tedious, because it is, but it's also ever evolving. It's also the time in your life where you're never going to be closer to your child than you are now. They only grow farther apart. And so you should contemplate the joy that you will have, because you're going to look back and these are going to be the joyous times. I know it doesn't feel like it, but these are the joyous times. These are the carefree times. And these days of tedium, they're not so tedious when you look back.
No, they're not.
And yeah, we're not fooling ourselves, right? It's little rose-colored glasses, but man, wouldn't we have those times back? If I could go back in time, I would take a little more care to take in those moments, those normal, routine, tedious moments, because they are all too fleeting.
They don't last.
No, they don't. So, yeah, that's be my suggestion, just to try to realize that it's a short-term gift, and try to enjoy every moment you can. Enjoy the tedium, enjoy the routine, because it's not going to last very long. Okay.
What are the differences between postpartum depression and just life with a baby? Okay, first off, why are you asking this on Reddit? This is just too important. You need to get to your doctor and have them do an evaluation. And it doesn't take very long. And it's so very, very important. You don't want to have to dig yourself out of a hole. Avoid that hole altogether.
Yeah, and well, any of these type of things, the difference between just being tired and life kind of running you down for a little bit, and depression, is the intensity of it. That's the difference. And it can feel like a fine line, except it's really not. You're just fooling yourself if it's a fine line. So, are you just tired because you haven't slept in 4 days, and haven't had good sleep in 4 days, and so it's hard to get out of bed, hard to feel motivated to go to do things, but you get up, you do it, you feel kind of okay, and you go about your day? Or is literally everything a fight? Is getting up a fight? Is wanting to feed the baby a fight? Is wanting to change the diapers a fight? Is everything a fight? If everything's a fight, you're likely dealing with some type of postpartum depression and you need some help. If you're just tired, like every parent is when you got a new baby, that's just being tired. You'll get through that. But you don't need to suffer with, you do have to suffer with the tiredness. You just do. You just have to suffer with that. But you don't have to suffer with depression.
No, you do not.
So if you're past just a normal tiredness, if it's a fight, everything's a fight. I mean, the basics. I'm not talking about a day where you just don't feel like taking care of the baby, but you get you human up and you put it and you go in through it and do it. I'm talking that goes 4 or 5 days in a row. Then it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a day where you just don't feel it that day. That's human. It's when those days stack together. Okay, what's next?
Okay. Seeking advice for screaming 6-month-old. Ooh, I am very sorry. Those are tough. And you just gotta wait it out.
Yeah, there's things you can do. You can find out, maybe they got like
You
maybe
got early teething or something?
early teething. They can have colic. We had one of ours had a hernia that had to get dealt with, so he was actually in pain, and we didn't know. And so there's all types of typical thing, or it could just be colicky, and they just for whatever reason are difficult to calm themselves.
Yeah.
For those things like putting them on top of the washing machine or the dryer, kind of helps. Car rides kind of help. Figure out the things that help them. A lot of times it's a lot of little movement.
Mm-hmm.
The car rides. That's why the car rides and it's a lot of little movement seems to help them.
It does.
And
those swings,
and
they have batteries now. We had to crank them up every 15 minutes.
Yeah, you'd set the egg timer so you can take a nap while you get the wake back up. Yeah, I remember those days. So yeah. So yeah, there's usually you grow out of it. If it's a real problem, make sure you talk to your doctor about it, because there might be something like a hernia that you're dealing with. It could be very, very gassy, so you try the squishing thing. You never,
with the legs out straight, and then put the knees up to the chest.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can try, but if it's a common issue, do talk to your doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it normal for school-age kids to favor a parent?
Well, yeah, they're going to favor the one that is either the funnest or the one that gives them their comfort.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends. So it's either mom, because mom feeds them and gives them comfort and whatnot, or it's dad, because dad's fun. They go out and play baseball or catch and wrestle, and so there's kind of depends on the child and the household dynamics. But yes, it's quite common. It's quite common for all kids to favor parents, even when they're adults. It's normal. Yeah. Sadly, or not, depending upon your point of view. Not all parents are equal. So just saying. All right. We're on to work questions tonight. What do we've got?
Who feels guilty for taking a sick day?
People pleasers. People who inherently want to please people, they feel guilty for taking sick days. Or people with unusually high work ethics and feel like it's a personal failure that they weren't there to do their thing. These people exist, right? There's nothing wrong with them. It's just they think getting sick is a personal failure. And rather than it's human, you get sick sometimes, or you need a day off every now and again, just because. For them, they can't even comprehend it. They just can't, right? You hear about these people. They work same job for 47 years or something, never missed a day. You never took your kid to a ball game. You never didn't because had a doctor's appointment. That you scheduled all these things around you. Really? You never had a last minute health issue pop up? Or
apparently not.
No. All right. Yeah, I just don't understand it either. But
they went to work anyway.
I personally don't get that kind of thing. I got a fairly healthy work ethic, but I'm not dragging my sickness around, because one, I'll just have to fix all my mistakes and then I get back. So screw everything up. Okay, what's next?
What would you do if someone new made considerable more money than you?
Do they have more talent than me? Do they work harder than me? They're more productive than me? Are they in a different role than me? I mean, someone who comes in, makes more money than me, doing the exact same job with the exact same output, I'd ask for a raise or I'd go somewhere else. But if someone has higher qualifications than me, has a different job than me, comes in to do something different than me, then more power to them. Right? I don't understand how this is complicated. So, and you're talking how much more? Because that new person may have a long history, track record somewhere else of high success, and I may have a track record of mediocrity. Right? Who are you going to pay more? You just are. You're going to pay the other person more. Okay.
When do you deem an employee untrainable?
When they completely fail to be able to do the tasks that you need them to do on their own. Sometimes you can know right away. Sometimes it takes some time, depending upon the complexities of things. You know, not everybody's met. Not everybody is met out for every job, right? You know, not everybody can work in a warehouse. Not everybody can drive a truck. Not everybody can be a nurse. Not every, there's, pick your profession. Not everybody can do it. And so, you're actually doing everybody a favor when you figure that out and move on to something else, including yourself. You find out, I'm not good at this. I'm going to go do something else before I waste years of my life chasing something I'm at best mediocre at. Now, maybe you have to do it because it's the only job in town and, you need to pay the bills. Okay, fine. No one's going to blame anybody for paying their bills, for feeding their families. But we're all better off if you can do something that we're actually naturally good at. Just, no one wants me taking pictures, right? I can talk in front of a microphone, but no one wants me taking pictures. So it just is what it is. Okay, what is next?
Okay, is it weird if a job applicant has someone drive them to an interview and waits in their car for them?
No.
Oh.
That's called someone having a support network who is supporting them in their job effort.
Well, she doesn't drive.
Yeah. So that's not actually relevant. She knows how to get herself places so she can get to work. At the best, that's what it's saying, right? She has a support network who are supporting her to get to work. She knows how to get around places. You're not technically allowed to ask those questions. For better or for worse, you're not allowed to ask questions. How do you get to work? But no, as long as they leave them in their car and they wait for the interview to be over, if they're not bringing their parents into the interview, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, would you be happier if they had driven down the block and waited around the corner and waited for a phone call? Why are you going to go through all of that? It's perfectly normal. Okay.
May get fired because I looked at airsoft guns on my break at work. What do I do?
What? Now, you looked at them like the physical one or?
On the internet.
Well, hey, don't search private things on your work internet. That's the solution to that. There's nothing you can do if their policy is, and you've got a boss who's iffy about guns. I mean, you could be prepared when you talk to HR or whatever it is that, you're if it's on your phone, my guess is you're sitting on your company computer looking at airsoft, and you probably have a company rule about using company computers for personal searches. You probably violated that. And you got fired, or you may get fired because someone at your work is completely anti-gun. Whether that's right or wrong or not might depend upon your state laws, but why would you want to work there? And people who are that, find someplace else to work. That's always my solution to these kind of things. So find someplace that's not going to, monitor your every page view and then get mad because, you were shopping for something on a break that they may not like.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly legal product. It's not like you were searching for, paraphernalia. Okay.
Corporate work has me burned out. Should I take a break?
It depends. I mean, maybe you just need a vacation. Maybe you need a sabbatical or 6 weeks in Iceland. We go back to that. Take a 6-week Iceland trip. There's someone who's looking for a partner, apparently. It's easy to get burnt out on the corporate work. Now, the question is, are you just burnt out of the rut? You've been stuck in the rut doing the same job for 5, 6, 10 years, essentially, and you're just kind of tired of the grind, and you just want to do something new. Or is there it really kind of depends on the circumstances of the burnout or the theoretical burnout. Because not all burnouts are equal. Some burnouts are real and genuine, and you hit those in conjunction with a midlife crisis, and you have to make drastic changes in your life. Otherwise, you're going to end up giving yourself a heart attack, right? These are the kind of things that are real. Or you could just be in a rut. You're tired of being in a rut. You could really solve it by going to your boss. God, boss, I'm feeling like I'm in a rut. Oh, really? I thought you liked your job. We wanted to promote you 6 months ago to a different role, but you were so happy over there. We just decided to leave you alone. And you'd be surprised how often those kind of things happen. You would really be surprised. Well, you seemed happy, so we just so you never asked, so. Yeah, we're happy to move you on. We wanted to a long time ago. Yeah. We've discussed it here. Bosses are bad. No one trains you to be a boss, right? They train you to do the job, and the next thing you know, you're good at your job, and now next thing you know, hey, you're going to supervise the guys who used to do your job, or the job you used to do. You no longer do that job. You just supervise the guys who do it now. That's a whole vastly different job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't train you for that. So there it is. So if you're burnt out, try vacation would be my first suggestion.
Yeah.
Maybe you do need 6 weeks in Iceland. Take a break away. Get the pressure off of you so you can actually think clearly. Is probably would be because you may just need a break, or you may need a complete change. And so, how's that?
We'll see what happens.
How's that for an answer?
That's an honest answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
I'm bored of writing copy all day. Anyone else? I don't know. This is for copyrights. I'm sorry.
These are people. No, this is just people who write copy. In a sense, is people who write those short blurbs for news websites, or your local news programs, or press releases, or all that little stuff that gets generated throughout the day. She probably works for a marketing firm, and you get keywords and you dump them, and you write 3 paragraphs about something, and you push it out, and it's essentially writing on an assembly line.
Mm-hmm.
And I could understand, especially if you're a very creative writer, how you would get insanely tedious and boring and tired, but you've got to pay the bills, so you do it anyway, and you just want to slam your head into the yeah, I get it. I get it, completely get it. It's understandable to the nth degree. And what do? You do it until you can find something better. Those are entry-level jobs. Those are things you suffer through until you've proven yourself or can build something better. It's what you do. That's what they do. That's what they're for. So, all right, we have 6 minutes. So we've got to find out how to talk about intimacy questions without being. Well, we're actually on after 10, so we're all right. All right. So what's this?
How to ask consent during sexual activities. Because that's one of the things. Because are you supposed to stop and say, "Do you, are you good with doing such and such? Are you okay with that?" I mean, that kind of spoils the mood, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, hopefully you've already discussed these things before you gotten started. Now there is a way to have romantic ongoing conversations, right? You
You
just
can.
my guess is most people just aren't very good at that type of thing because it requires a bit of finesse, right? You've got to have the right tone at the right times, saying things in the right way, and it's different for each person, and yeah. So, and it can go badly if you have the completely wrong, if you mess it up, because you can really turn somebody off if you use the wrong type of voice. It just becomes a mess. So I don't know. You just kind of work your way through it like we've been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just kind of do. You discuss most of this before you start. So frankly,
you really should. There shouldn't be too much.
Yeah, unless there's something that you guys have been talking about, but no one's actually said yes, and everything's kind of in the mood and looks like that kind of direction might be okay. You might want to go, you can bring it up and see how they feel. So, but those opportunities usually present themselves, and you can just kind of go with the flow, and it becomes I'll say it becomes a romantic thing. With a loose definition of romance.
Loose, very loose, but it can be. Yeah.
Okay, so which one do we want to skip to? Let's
see. How to have intimacy with a woman who is taller than you?
Well, the same way you do with the woman who's shorter than you. You just don't have to be as careful, frankly. One of the biggest concerns men have is with small women is you think you're going to break them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're worried about breaking them. So if you got a tall woman, you don't have to worry about that. She's sturdy. So, there is that. But there's nothing different between a tall woman and a short woman fundamentally, right? Okay, you have to make a little more effort because legs are longer and whatnot, and as you're touching and whatnot, it's a little harder to reach certain spots because it's all right. You can work with that. So there's nothing different. She's still the same.
Yeah.
There's nothing complicated about it, but you just don't have to think about breaking her. Think of it that way.
Bonus.
Yeah, bonus question. All right, we've got another 3 minutes to cover, so we're gonna have to get through most of
Okay, I'm getting pretty good at deciphering some of these.
Okay.
Is it possible to become more aroused when actually being intimate in the moment?
Well, yeah. It's kind of how it usually works.
Huh. Okay.
Well, I mean, if you get less excited as the things are going on, that's generally a sign
very
that things
true.
That's generally a sign that things aren't going well. So I mean, if the goal is to get to 8, 9, or 10, and you start at a 3, right? You're working your way up to the end the end goal over there. Yeah, you should be more excited where you're nearing the end goal than when you're starting the endeavor.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah. So just by nature, it's not only is it possible, it's theoretically how it should work. So I don't know. My guess is it possible? I would hope so.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Is it possible I'm feeling my partner's IUD? It feels like a needle.
I suppose it's possible, but I mean, physics would have to, it would have to match, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but I don't actually have much experience, so I can't really. Ask WebMD. Ask your doctor would be my guess.
Definitely, that's a doctor question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. Oh, you can actually call the advice nurse. You don't even have to go to your doctor. Just if you've got a thing, call the advice nurse and just ask.
There you go.
There, you don't have to deal with all that.
Yeah.
Or send it. That could be a question you can send an email to your doctor. You don't have to. It's not a doctor visit question, but just ask. Okay.
Okay. Morning intimacy. How to get my boyfriend into it.
Wake him up.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
now. He may not be a morning person, and so you may be, trying to swim up a stream that's empty. So it's entirely possible. But generally speaking, we're pretty easy. And in the mornings, many of us you're pre-prepared, shall we say. Don't even have to do anything. So most of us will not complain. Maybe he will, right? Again, it's a back to that scent thing. You need to talk about these things beforehand. But rule of thumb, most men don't mind being woken up that way. So you just have to take some initiative. That's what that's going to require.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How to stop being so aroused. Okay, she's 25.
Mm-hmm.
And what she does is she runs like a couple miles every day. And that's the only way that she's able to get this energy out. Otherwise, she's just a complete tense basket case. So she's like, what can I do to help to get the level of intimacy I want?
Well, does she not have a partner?
No, not right now.
Well, then you're just going to have to keep working out. Well, we tell men to work out and take cold showers. So there, your advice is to work out and take cold showers.
Ooh.
Does it work? No, but it gives you something to do. Anybody tells you it works, they're lying to you. It just gives you something to do. It gives you something else to do. You've got a plan when it happens. Then you just do that. So give yourself something to do. That's all I can tell you.
You'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you do find a partner.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Boyfriend watches porn before being intimate with me every time.
This is probably one, I'm going to guess, this is probably an unfortunate learned behavior. And in a sense, he's going to need to unlearn it. I mean, we're visual creatures. So, and he has gotten accustomed to that being how he gets himself prepared.
Mm.
And so now he's quite literally doesn't know how to do it. Not realizing that you just have to stop and the nature will take its freaking course. But he's accidentally trained himself. And so now he's going to have to untrain himself.
Mm.
So now, how do you do it? That's why. Now, how do you get it to change? Don't know. Threats and things don't work on these kind of things.
No, they don't. No.
So you're going to have to address it as you're concerned for him and somehow. And remember, you can start the conversation, and just because it doesn't necessarily go all that well the first time doesn't mean he's not thinking about it. Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean he's not considering it, and doesn't mean he won't change his mind on these things over as he contemplates. So, it's one of those things where you mention it, don't push too hard, and you actually could get better results than you think. So just when you do it, just try not to attack him with it is the best thing you can do. Maybe what you can do is don't give him the opportunity a few times. Again, take some initiative and, interrupt his routine.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, but eventually he's going to have to untrain himself. So sadly, that's the only solution I could think of at the moment. All right. And we are out of here for the night. Want to thank you all for watching. Want to thank you, Lovey, for putting the show together tonight. We want to remind you that you can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, blah, 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 to love@latenightLove.us. We want to thank all of our listeners, viewers, and everybody else. And so please remember to love everybody and have a good, oh, wait. What does this mean? He's not hitting the right buttons again. And have a good night.
Goodbye.